Page 52, 4 lines from the top of the page. אמר רבי נתן, אמת רקסים לא יכרו בו חכמים ולכפנים איקה לחוץ. So here is a discussion in regards to the Beit HaMikdash, the service that the Kohen Gadol taking place in Yom Kippur. And if you remember the previous daf, we talk about the sage's opinion of two parochot, two different curtains. And it's not clear if this is a Kodesh or Kodesh Kodashim, if it's the part of the Holy or the entrance of the Holy of Holies. So we speak about Heichal. Heichal is the 40 cubits. And then we have in between the sanctuary and the Holy of Holies one amat traksin, 1 cubit traksin, which is the word that's used for that measure. And then we said the question is, since we said that the Holy of Holies is 20 and the other one is 40, where exactly the amat traksin, this 1 cubit, is that part of the 40 or part of the 20? Mm-hmm. So now the Gemarrah elaborated on that.
The part in between the curtains.
In between the curtain. Now, just a side note, it's a famous story about the Rabbi Kareli, it's the famous Chazon Ish. They came to him once and they told him about the part of the wall that fell, the western wall. And he said, people should realize that when they're davening at the Kotel Maravi, at the holy part of the western wall, they should not focus on the stones. They should focus on the Beit HaMikdash, what's inside, and mainly focus serving of Hashem. It's not the stone themselves. Matkif la Rav Kahana. Rav Kahana challenged that. My Tama. What's the reason that the sages have a doubt? If it's because it's written in the book of Kings, chapter 6, that the building King Solomon built has 60 cubit length and the 20 cubit width, and the height is 30 cubit. So it means that both the Heichal, the sanctuary, and the Holy of Holies, together it's 60. וכתיב 40 אמה בבית, הוא ההיכל לפני, וכתיב לפני הדברים 20 אמה אורך ו20 אמה רוחב ו20 אמה קומתו. So here, the question is, the heights of the Holy of Holies turn to be 20. In the previous pasuk, you see that it's 30. So there are two ways to understand it. Tosfot have a long explanation based on Rashi in the Book of Kings. The Gemarrah in Bavli 98 said that King Solomon made it from the floor of the Holy of Holies, and that was 10. And here we talk about the space between the heights of the kruvim up to the ceiling. So they said, "Velo yad'inan amat traksin." And it's not clear what exactly amat traksin applies. Where is exactly? If it's part, as we said, part of the 20 of the Kodesh Kodashim or the 40. So Avila explained that perhaps it was not part of these 20 cubits and not part of these 40 cubits. It's because that was really establishing measurement. And they said, so it means that you take the cubits of the cubit of the whole, it's not included with either measurement, and know that anywhere that the verses, cubits, at the area of the wall, in addition to the spaces they contain, it's also count as 1 cubit partition. And he said, Teida, we shall know, So now I bring the source for that. This is a famous Mishnah in Tractate Midot, chapter 4. It speaks about Beit Sheni, the second Beit HaMikdash, all the measurement, and this speaks from the eastern part to the western part, in addition to the sanctuary and the Holy of Holies. It was another two important items, which is the big hall before entering to the sanctuary, and it was a special part. It's called like a chamber that the head to Beit HaMikdash, and it was, if you measure all together, it's more than 60. Detnan ha-heichal, which is the building. Heichal usually it speaks about the sanctuary, but here it applies to the entire Beit HaMikdash. That's the explanation of Tosfot Yom Tov in Tractate Midot. So he said, me'al me'ah, berum me'ah, kotel ve'ulam. Ulam is the, Rashi said, is the eastern part of the Beit HaMikdash, is the big hall, and anyone who entered the Beit HaMikdash entered toward that spot first. So outer wall, it's basically outer part of the eastern portion of Beit HaMikdash, and that was the opening to the big hall that was a height of 40 cubits, and the wall itself was 100 cubits. So they said the outer 5 והאולם 11, כותל ההיכל 6, ואורכו 40 אמה, ואמה טרקסין. So again, this cubit, this ama, it's not part of 40 of the heichal, and not 20 of the Holy of Holies. ו-20 אמה בית קודש הקודשים, כותל ההיכל 6, והתא 6, וכותל התא 5. So the 38 chamber that was built around Holy on the Holy of Holies, north, south, and west, those basically are storage rooms, those chambers that they use for those maintenance and other things that they need for the Beit HaMikdash. So now, here is the dilemma. Ela kedushatei, that space of the cubit between the, in the partition between the Kodesh and the Kodesh HaKodeshim, ikilfanim ikilachutz. We discussed it several times. If we treat it as like the inside or the outside, if you treat it like part of the Kodesh or part of the Kodesh HaKodeshim. So they said, V'hainu damar Rabbi Yochanan, Ba'i Yosef ish Hotzel. Ish Hotzel is the name of location, Hotzel. And here have a discussion in regards to the way we divided the Beit HaMikdash between these two parts, between the Kodesh and Kodesh HaKodeshim. Again, based on the Book of Kings, chapter, first Book of Kings, chapter 6. It's written, Udvir betoch habayit mipnima heichin letiten sham. They said that when King Solomon prepared the building, so he prepared a petition in the midst of the house within that part to set there. So the place that the petition within the Beit HaMikdash, and beyond it, he prepared a space to place the ark. And the petition itself did not possess the sanctity of the Kodesh HaKodeshim. That's one option. Or Dilma Hachi Kemar. Or you go the other way around. You said, Udvir betoch habayit mipnima, which means a petition in the midst of the house within, which means that's the end of that verse. While the rest of the text is basically a new one. So the Gemara asks, Kumi misapkale. Is really true that he had an issue with that, Yosef of Utzal. It was really correct to say that he was uncertain how to punctuate this pasuk ve'atanya. Isi ben Yehuda omer 5 mikraot b'Torah en lהם הכרעה. It's important to know that they went the entire Torah, and there's only 5 different sources, 5 different psukim, that it's not clear if the part of the pasuk belongs to the first part or the second part. In other words, you have a specific word that creates the issue if we go by the first part of the pasuk or the last one. 52b, number 1, it's se'et. Se'et, it's come from the book of Bereshit in Genesis chapter 4. We all know the story between Cain, the brother of Abel, and God. They talk about the loss of the life of his brother after Cain killed Abel. And God talked to Cain, and he said to him that basically pasuk happened right before the murder of his brother took place. And God told him, Im teitiv se'et, v'im lo teitiv lapetach hatat rovetz. So basically God warned him, if you made a teshuvah, if you change your way, I'll accept your offering. Otherwise, if you don't, then you carry the sin to the end of your life. So now it's not clear if the word se'et belongs to the first part, which means that God forgive your sin, or you said it's part of the continuation, which means that you carry your sin if you don't change your way. So the big question the Tosfot Rosh and Tosfot Shnim ask, the vav, if ve'im, why you need the vav in between? So the question is, the word se'et, if it belongs to the first part of the pasuk or the second. Another one, the second uncertain case, it's the word meshukadim. In the book of Exodus chapter 25, it's a description of menorah in the tabernacle, and they said that the menorah, they have arba'ak gvi'im meshukadim bakanea echad kaftor v'ferach, and the word meshukadim, it's not clear if it's applied to the gvi'im or it's applied the other part, that in the menorah they have 4 different gvi'im, and in addition they have also kaftorim uprachim, that they have other parts of the like almond blossoms. So they if it's a first part of the pasuk or the second one, machar, it's Exodus 17. Here it's written in Milchemet Amalek that Moshe Rabbeinu talked to Yoshua, and he said, "Vayom Moshe el Yoshua b'char lanu anashim v'tzei lachem ba'amalek machar anochi nitzav al rosh hagiv'ah u'matei Elokim biyadi." So they use the word machar. So again, it means that Moshe Rabbeinu asked Yoshua to go to war the next day, machar, tomorrow, or he meant to say that you should go to fight immediately, but he intended, meaning Moshe Rabbeinu, to stand on the top of the mountain and to pray the next day. So again, it's uncertain. Next one, the fourth case of uncertainty, is the word arur. It's written in Genesis 49, when Yaakov blessed his sons before he passed away. So he talked to Shimon and Levi, and he said, "Arur apam ki az ve'vratam ki kashata." So the question is, he meant to say that Shimon and Levi, they basically arur, they get rid of the fellow that was responsible for the rape of Dinah, which applied to Shechem, that they call Arur Knan, that's the nation that been cursed. Or Arur, it means that Yaakov was express anger and a curse the act of anger of Shimon and Levi. So it's not clear what Arur meant at the middle of the pasuk. The next one, it's written Vekam, book of Devarim, Deuteronomy chapter 31. So when Hashem went to Moshe Rabbeinu and he said that after you passing, it will turn that you're going to die, Hincha shochev im avotecha, vekam ha'am hazeh. So it means Vekam, after Moshe Rabbeinu will pass, they go to worship idol, or it means that even Moshe Rabbeinu is about to pass, he is going to be resurrected with all the dead. And since we have this list of uncertainty, so we did not have a clear resolution for that. So therefore, V'tanya, hu Yosef ish Hosel, hu Yosef Bavli, hu Isi ben Yehuda, hu Isi ben Gur Aryeh, hu Isi ben Gamliel, hu Isi ben Malel, u'ma shmo, Isi ben Akiva shmo. So in other words, that's his real name. The Marsha and others said that it's applied to his special personalities. There is a response called Halachot K'tonot. They said that because he ran away from the government at that time, they tried to trace him, and therefore he changed his identity, and therefore it's the same person, just a different name. So the since Yosef Ichusal is the same is Ibn Yehuda, that at least only 5 words in different 5 psukim that do not have a clear resolution. So how you now tell me that there's another one that he is not sure about the partition Beit HaMikdash? So they say, Gemarrah said, Bidorai Talecha ben Ika. So if you talk about the 5 books of Moses, so it's not more than 5 psukim. But when it's come to the other books, the books of prophets, etc., there are more that's not clear. And like an example, the pasuk we just have, which applied to the petition in Beit HaMikdash, that it's not clear, again, that space, that cubit. So the Gemara asks, Ubidoraita leika? And in the Torah itself, are there no other example of something that it's not clear, that we don't have a clear solution for that? Vayika the Bar of Chizda, this is a famous pasuk, it said in the book of Shemot, chapter 24. Over there they said, Vayishlach et na'arei bnei Yisrael vayolu olot kvasim. So they said, and he sent the young men of children of Israel who sacrificed burnt offering, and it means sheep. And then vayizbechu zvachim shlamim laHashem parim. And they said that they sacrificed peace offering of bulls to the Lord. These peace offering alone were bulls. So Odilma idi ve'idi parim, or perhaps is these were bulls, and the bulls referring both to the burnt offering and peace offering. So you have a famous Ramban on this pasuk that go with a very mystical explanation. But here we go just a literal text. Rav Chizda misapkalei le'isi ben Yehuda pshitalei. So they said, according to Rav Chizda, it was uncertain how to read this pasuk, but the interpretation was clear by Isi ben Yehuda. So one of the options that Rav Chizda said, so therefore he said that it's 5 psukim in Torah that we don't have a final clear solutions. Now, in regard to the Mishnah, we learned in the previous Mishnah that according to the sages there are 2 paruchot, 2 petitions that divided between the Kodesh, between the sanctuary and the Kodesh HaKodashim, between the sanctuary and the Holy of Holies. And according to Rabbi Yossi, it's only 1. Now the Mishnah that follow the opinion of the sages continue the description of the entrance of the Kohen Gadol to Kodesh HaKodashim. Hachitzona hayta prufa. The outer curtain between the sanctuary and the Holy of Holies was hooked, slightly open, mina darom, in the southern part, ופנימית מן הצפון, and the inner curtain was from the north. And now he said that the Kohen Gadol entered between them, ומהלך ביניהם, he walked in between them, עד שמגיע לצפון, until they entered the northern part. הגיע לצפון, הופך פניו לדרום. When he goes to the north, he turn around to the south, מהלך לשמאלו עם הפרוכת, עד שהוא מגיע לארון. He goes with the length of the curtain while on his left, till he reach the art which is between these two curtains. הגיע לארון, נותן, so in other words, when he reached the ark, he placed, נותן את המחתה בין שתי הבדים, he places the coal pan between the two staves, and צבר את הקטורת על גבי גחלים, מתמלא כל הבית כולו עשן. So he then he piles the incense atop the coals, and the whole chamber in its eternity will fill with smoke. So again, that was a hard work, because filling this incense with the smoke, it was part of the mitzvah of incense on Yom Kippur, and the Kohen Gadol not allowed to leave until that spot was filled with smoking. It's a famous piyut in the Musaf Yom Kippur, Nusach Sfard, Ata Chonanta, that they have the description there. יצא ובא לו בדרך בית כניסתו. He goes the way that he entered, which means his face to the south, and he goes backward, and הוא מתפלל תפילה קצרה בבית החיצון. And he made recite a brief prayer in the outer chamber, which is in the sanctuary. ולא היה מעריך בתפילתו שלא להעביד את ישראל. So he should not extend his prayer, so people will be frightened, the Jewish people, because they think that something happened to him, etc. So they're afraid that maybe he passed, so he should not extend his prayer for long. Gemarrah, b'ma yaskinan? What it's our discussion here. We're talking about the first temple or the second one. If the Talmud speaks about the first temple, so the first temple, were there the curtains, then it's the only curtain of the 1 cubit partition. So if you tell me that it's the second temple, there is an ark there. So they said, Vatanya, Mishnigna Zaron, during the era of the end of the first temple, so they concealed the ark. Nigneza imo tzintzenet Haman. So at the same time that the ark was buried, it was a burial of the jar of manna. Utzlochit shemen. That's the famous. It's in a parsha Beshalach, the upcoming parsha speaks about the tzintzenet Haman, special manna that the later one they concealed. Moshe Rabbeinu, tzlochit shemen hamishcha, that it's also a flask of oil used for anointing that Moshe Rabbeinu did in the desert, to make the olive oil until he reached the point of a great odor, but they said that it never done again after Moshe Rabbeinu's time, and they happened. The Gemarrah said in Horayot and Kritud in a few places that they anointed only the few Kohanim Gdolim and the kings from the descendants of David, but ומקלו של אהרון ושקדיה ופרחיה, and also the Aaron's staff and his almond and blossoms. So that was after the Korach story that Aaron's make that one. והרגש שגרו פלישתים דורון אלוקי ישראל. And also the chance that the Philistines sent a gift to the God of Israel after they captured the ark and were stricken by several plagues. שנאמר, said in the book of Samuel chapter 6, ואת כלי הזהב אשר השבותם לו עשן ושמו בארגז מזבלו ושפטם אותו והלך. So therefore we know that it's concealed together with him. Umignazo, who is the one who buried the ark? Yoshiyahu Gnazo. The king Yoshiyahu did it. So Yoshiyahu was one of the king's late part of the house of David, and he was very close to the very end of the first temple. And the text said that he was a righteous man, not like his father and his great father, his father Ammon, grandfather Menashe. He was righteous and he tried hard. And they said, the Abarbanel said, and you see it in the book of Chronicles, chapter 34, that while they're doing this type of work and cleaning the Beit HaMikdash, they found the Sefer Torah. The Kohen Gadol found the Sefer Torah that was from the early times. So Rabbi Yosef Albo, in the book of Ikarim, in chapter 3, he said that this was the Sefer Torah that Moses wrote, and it was in the Holy of Holies in the side of the tablets, and it was basically supposed to be rolled to the very beginning, but then it turns to be rolled to the book of Deuteronomy. So in other words, when he opened the Torah, he saw that it's written in the series of admonition, the book of Dvarim, in the Tochacha, chapter 28, Yolech Hashem otcha v'et malkecha asher dakim alecha al goy asher lo yadata. They said that when he opened the Torah, he saw it's written that the God will bring you, and the kingdom you shall set over to a nation that you have not known. So right away, he knew that the Jewish people will ultimately be exiled. And he held it better that the ark should not be disgraced in exile. So therefore, Amad Ugnazo, he went and he buried it, concealed it. They said in the Chronicles, second book of Chronicles, chapter 35, ויאמר הלוויים המבינים, which is the Levites that teach the Torah and they taught the entire Israel, לכל ישראל הקדושים להשם תנו את ארון הקודש אשר בבית אשר בנה שלמה בן דוד מלך ישראל ואין לכם מסע בכתב ותא יעבדו את השם אלוהיכם ודמו ישראל. So in other words, he asked them, he commanded them to put the Levites that no longer carry the ark on their shoulders, and they should dedicate themselves to the services of singing and locking the gates of the temple. So we said that the ark was at the beginning in the Holy of Holies, and here he rules to conceal it, to bury it in a special spot in the Beit HaMikdash. Rabbi Elazar Atya, we learn in regards to the manna that concealed together with the ark by juxtaposition. Why? Because they said Atya Shama Shama Vatya Dorot Dorot, because it's written two times the same word. One place it's written in the book of Exodus chapter 30, take a jar and put it full of omer, of manna there, and then they said in Exodus 16, they said the word is Shama there, Exodus 30, and then the other one is Dorot Dorot. They said in the word generation twice. So you learn that this Slochit Haman, the manna, the plate of the manna, in juxtaposition, Ve'atya Mishmeret Mishmeret. And Rabbi Elazar continued that likewise derived the verbal analogy, the juxtaposition from the term safekeeping twice. They said in the book of Numbers chapter 17. So they teach that all these items were hidden together in the ark, So the ark of the in the Holy of Holies, even before the first temple period ended. So why the Mishnah speaks about the ark during the second temple period? So they said, Le'olam b'mikdash sheni. You have to say that speaks about the second Beit HaMikdash. Umay higia la'aron. It wasn't an ark. Mekom aron. That's the place that the ark was there during the first Beit HaMikdash. Ve'aketan natan ha'machta leven shnei abadim. What type of curtain was there? Eima kebein shnei abadim. It's like, so he said, between the two stars, which means in the place where the staves had been located when the ark was there. So the place that originally was like that. That's the way Rashi understands it. First halacha is a Rambam in Hilchot Avodat Yom Kippurim chapter 4. When the Kohen Gadol reaches the ark, Maaseh HaKohen Biyom Bekodesh HaKodashim, so he places the coal pan between the staves, or on the foundation rock in the second temple, the Even HaShtiyah. He piles the incense on the top of the coals and wait until the chamber fills with smoke. That's part of his obligation. He cannot leave early, as we said. He then walks backward until he exits through the curtains. If you go to Kotel Maravi, you see people does that they go backward part of the... When he reaches the sanctuary, he uttered a short prayer, taking care not to prolong it, so people should not be worried about he might have died in that sacred place. Now, in the interment of the ark, Gnizat Aaron, the Rambam Hilchot Beit HaBchira, chapter 4, the ark rested in the Holy of Holies on the foundation rock. Next to it was the jar of manna and Aaron's staff. King Hoshea ordered that the concealment of the ark, the jar of manna and the anointing oil, somewhere deep inside tunnels that had been dug during the construction of the Beit HaMikdash. So again, the fear was that the enemy should not use it inappropriately.
ציר מי שלא יוכלני